Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome to Gris. Or at least that's what I think the pronunciation of the title is. I don't think it's Gris, I think it's Gris, because it is from a Spanish company. The Spanish word for gray is gris, and since this is a game about colors, so to speak, I figure that would be the more apt pronunciation. I'm just guessing. I haven't actually looked that one up online. Although I probably should before making any guesses in the future. Anyway, let's just jump into it. There are a couple things I already know about this. One is the soundtrack is fantastic. 2 is the art is fantastic. And 3 is the story is delivered entirely contextually. Although, why does she have very realistic hands and face? But also, like, when the camera zooms out, like, her legs and arms become very cartoonish, while her face remains more realistic, proportionally. It's an interesting combination. But yeah, this is something that I've already been mentioned about before for this game, is that it basically just kind of drops you in. I guess literally more than figuratively. That is a name to look forward to for future releases, considering the soundtrack. Also, Devolver has become quite the interesting publisher for indie games in general. Although I think this game is interesting for them, one, because it's not a violent game, and I think Devolver has kind of presented itself almost as having these like gratuitous, pixelated, violent games, whereas this is a art game. In which the quality of the visuals is meant to kind of draw you in. So, I'm going to probably spend a lot of time attempting to quantify the context in the game. Like, what does this mean? She cannot jump. Pressing the A button causes her to fall to her knees. I don't know why I said that so ominously. Interesting. So it also notice, I wanted to say her dress was much more oh, she got the ability to run again. Her dress was more colorful, the world was more colorful. Something happened. Okay, so she was standing, she was singing, she was confident, and then... what? I've heard this game also referring to the idea of depression as well. The idea of of her own depression taking hold, which I think would be a fitting explanation in regards to the lack of context, in that for a moment she was confident, and for no particular reason at all, other than her own doubts seeping in, caused her to lose confidence. She was floating in air, and then lost all confidence, and the structure below her crumbled. All color seeped away until all that was left was gray. But I still think it's an interesting stylistic choice to make her arms and legs so spindly, though I think it works as a visual reference when you're looking at the character from farther and farther away. Like, the camera on her is not exactly close up, so you wouldn't really be able to see details anyway. Hello? How are you? So there's something over there, but I cannot get to it. Alright. And that's something else I noticed in regards to this game, is the gameplay is very basic. The actual actions that you perform are not particularly complex, and also there is generally no fear of failure. Although I suppose you can screw up a jump every once in a while. So I need to, I believe I actually need to collect some more colors. That's what the game is telling me. Or I need to collect more of these dots. Right now I have 2 of them. Now that is cool. The quality of the animation in this game reminds me a lot of Cuphead. Just without the difficulty. And I believe there was still one thing that I could collect by going in this path. Yep. And now let's carry on and see if we can go on. And that entire idea of games that are, I guess it's not I guess it's not impossible to lose. Or should I say, I guess it's possible to not win more than anything else. You might just give up. But it's kind of like I remember this game kind of reminds me more of the video game Braid, but without, like if Braid decided to remove the portions where it told the story to you. If it was just the sequences of gameplay. Like, you can't really lose Braid, because you can always just rewind time. Fancy. Also, ooh, I brought back the color red. Also, so there is the image of, there is her, and then there is the statue of her. I have not studied enough psychology to properly make an argument about this, but I could probably argue that the statue of her, what would that be? What would that represent? Her ego? And the fact that it crumbled so easily showcases her own confidence in herself. Like, this would be like, there was the Pixar movie, I think it was called Inside Out. I could be horribly wrong because I never watched it. It was about the individual emotions inside this one person's head. Like, imagine you're never given that context. You're just always inside this person's head. And you're never given the context of saying, like, oh, there is this world outside. Huh. There's 2, 3, 4, 7 things? Should I go up or I'll go up? And that's about as far as I can go. Leap of fail. So, yeah, this is her own mindscape, so to speak. Should I go to the left? Okay. I'm looking at, essentially level hubs. Okay. Also, the slide, mechanic in this game, very cool, very stylish. Even though more or less you're just kind of watching the environment go by. But if everything looks great, then hey. Also, this kind of reminds me of a specific, iPhone. The sliding mechanic reminds me of an iPhone game. I want to say it's called Aldo's Odyssey. In which you're playing as this kind of like snowboarder who's going through this this rolling hillside of snow and cities and towns and campfires, and it's this very like serene snowboarding adventure, which is much more interesting than you'd expect from a mobile title. The title. It is called Alto's Adventure. That's the snowboarding one. But it has a very similar kind of gameplay flow to it, to the way that this girl slides down the downward slopes in this game. Also, red sand, red rocks, red pyramids. It makes for a very cool like visual landscape. And also, since I have more than one color, I don't know. Is her dress still kind of gray, or is this just highlighted by the colors she's passing by? Also, notice all the wind machines are off, which means that nope, I spoke too soon. And now we're borrowing the soundtrack from Interstellar for a brief moment. Still okay, because the soundtrack to Interstellar is awesome. And maybe like that, like the sweeping, the wind, the sand gets kicked up is because of the landscape itself. But, so that's what the visual representation of it is. But, what would we imagine that the contextual representation of that would be? If we were supposed to kind of come up with some sort of idea of what that really means. Should I? Yep. That is a very nice smoke effect. Although it kind of makes me wonder whether they whether they just recorded smoke in front of a green screen. Oh, hello. And we're blowing with the wind. No, just let go. I think she, yep. I wanted her to just let the wind carry her away, but she wasn't having it. But now I believe I have all the dots I need. So I haven't really thought about what that would represent. Like what the idea of, like, collecting the dots creates a bridge. It creates openings, I believe, later on in the game. But what does that mean, if that means anything? Also, spindly rock legs look awesome. And I think I'm going to be spending, like, too much of this game saying that, so I'm going to try to curtail my description of this game's visuals as awesome. I'm going to try to cut myself off right here, right now. Because if I don't, I will not stop. I cannot stop in complimenting the nature of this game's art style. Because that's really the main reason I got the game. Like, I didn't really, Oh, yep, I know how you get that. I didn't really look up reviews of the game at the time when it was new. I just looked at a trailer for this game that showcased the art style, and I'm like, yep, I'm on board. I can buy into that. Also, she needed to wait until the wind stopped in order to gain superpowers. Specifically, how to become a box. Or how to box. That is perhaps the most literal interpretation of boxing imaginable in video games. Or she's actually secretly Canadian, and her favorite holiday is Boxing Day. Now, I've heard people compare this to Kirby. I've never really played more than like 1 or 2 Kirby games, so I do not have that frame of reference. Oh. Boxes cannot be blown in the wind. This is a fact. Which... Would the box essentially be considered a coping mechanism? It does not stop the symptom, that is the wind, but it allows her to deal with it. Also, this is a very versatile dress. Also, there are a lot of statues of women crying in this game. Be prepared for a lot of statues of women crying. So, like, the story doesn't tell you of depression. Also, her hair looks fantastic when she's slamming downward. It doesn't tell you that she's depressed. Okay. I've actually seen this part. And, the only thing that kind of bothers me about this is I would like to have seen, like, a different kind of reflection of what's going on the surface, below the surface. But if the only thing that's in her, let's imagine, this isn't necessarily her inner mind. But let's imagine that this is a dream she's having. Like, I think my desire for context is also based on my expectation that what is happening is occurring in some sort of reality. Versus, say, if it's occurring in some sort of dream. Whereas dreams don't have to function in the same fashion as reality. They can... Nope. No. That was not a actual platform I could jump to. Yeah. I was going to say there's a little bit of trickiness in regards to figuring out what is a platform and what is not. But as you can see, the platform I'm on has kind of like a white outline to it. Whereas the platform I was not on, because it was not a platform, does not. Why, thank you. That was very convenient of you. So dreams don't necessarily have to function in the same way as reality. They don't have to make sense. But the imagery of dreams, I suppose if we were going more into Freud's ideas of the unconscious, tell something. And while in this case, where we're not going to assume that that which she is dreaming of is related to penises as Freud might suspect. At the very least, we could say that what she is dreaming of is in relation to how she feels. And as we see broken statues. We see broken, weeping statues. We see broken landscapes. In very, very large, sweeping... okay, there we go. Oh. Camera was like, I'm not gonna follow you. Huh. Do I... Okay. Now I know where I screwed up. I need to go... There we go. If the level will not modify itself for you, then might as well modify the level. Although, I wonder if I can straighten it back up, and then what happens? What'll happen? Oh. It appears there is another thing to... I guess, I have to come up with a name for some of these things. So I got 3 power pellets. We'll just take from Pac-Man there. Because, hey, if it worked for Pac-Man, it'll work for us. So I've got enough power pellets in order to progress. Because I suppose you could have a video game that is a visual feast for the eyes. But ultimately it has to be a game. You have to be doing something. Although I'm definitely considering buying the soundtrack to this because it is music I would want to listen to on my spare time. Which is a rarity if you know me. And are we sliding down? Yes, we are. So, the first color she unlocks is red. Don't know if there's any significance to that. I know, like, other colors that she unlocks are red. Let's see, she unlocks red, green, blue. Oh. I'm guessing there is more stuff to collect in this direction. Although now I wonder if there's different... Oh. Huh. So there's an item there. But I don't necessarily have the means to jump down to it. Ah, there we go. That solves it. I think. It's still floating away, though. No, come back. Okay. Oh, because her square form is too heavy. And it weighs it down. So her dress gains mass. So I don't know if I'm able to actually get back up there then. Unless I lower this all the way down, and then I race the balloon back up. I think. That seems like a potential answer. Yes, it is. Fantastic. Ah, there we go. So, I guess not necessarily the most not exactly the most taxing gameplay situation, but it's a very peaceful game. It's a very calming game. Maybe not the best game to be playing while trying to come up with something to say about it. Oh. Because I would imagine if I was not doing this as like a Let's Play type thing. Oh. So I will crush you. Oh. Hello. I seem to have let the internal... Oh. Oh. So that is a more parasitic creature, that... Oh. Huh. Ugh. What does that mean, then? Okay, so if we're looking at this game as to one of two definitions. One, it is her mind. Two, it is a dream. One, what do parasites inside of her mind mean? Two, what do parasites within a dream mean? Parasites that seem to be, I guess, non-aggressive, be passive. They're actually the only violence that happens against her is there's going to eventually be this darkness that shows up. We haven't confronted that yet. But there was also kind of like the winds in the desert. As in, like, there's this barren place where everything is falling apart. By the way, I saw somebody do this, so... I'm kind of sort of cheating, because I've already seen somebody do this. It would have been nice if I was able to, like, try this all fresh and new, but I kind of been putting this off for longer and longer and longer, so I figure I might as well get it done now. And by getting it done now, I mean I'm getting it started now, and probably going to be finishing it in at least part 2 or part 3. But we'll see how well that goes, and... Alright, we got our platforms. So essentially, she's encountering this, what started off as an empty space. But as she's moving around it, she is rebuilding it. Now then one could say, oh, here we go. And as she has started rebuilding it, some of it has started to form again, but you can still see the cracks that separated. I especially like the lone finger that's off to the left. And it appears I've discovered green. I have brought back the color green. All right. Oh, nope. See, I was actually holding right, and then it corrected itself for me. So this is officially a cinema. This is not actually gameplay. What is to my left? Now here's the thing. I think like Mario games have all trained us when it comes to when it comes to 2D platforming games, that the proper direction is to the right. If you're not moving to the right, you're doing it wrong. Huh. Interesting. If I remember correctly, which of course I don't, I think this was the beginning of the game. Like the beginning hub area, and that was there was some of the symbols in the wall. Oh. Huh. Do not trust birds. They are terrible people. I understand completely. And nothing wrong with a leap of faith. Although, once again, her dress is very versatile. Although I'm still finding myself left, like, oh, nope, I am going in the wrong direction. I should not be heading right, I should be heading left. Like I said, Super Mario games, they've ruined us for 2D platforming. Convincing gamers for years that traveling left was not just impossible, but also wrong. And then there are some... The hills here are a bit hairy. Like, it almost looks as if there's hairs on it, or that it has a bit of an excessive painter's touch. Ah, yes, these Mega Man blocks. Which, I gotta say, I do like the animation of them appearing and disappearing. Like, it appears like they're almost like folding into nothing, and then unfolding out of nothing. Well, hello there, lone-lipped brick dude. What might I do for you? Am I going to find a whole bunch of apples and then you'll just eat the apples like right off the dirt? I suppose that's what I'm gonna do. Oh. And he's following me in the background. Or the foreground, actually, in this case. That's nifty. Oh. No wonder. So, if I stay here... Yep, it does kick me out. There is no true danger, but you'll have to start from the beginning again. Or, in this case, not the beginning, but the bottom. Huh. Okay, so there's nothing else to the left. Boom, boom, boom. Oh. No, no. There are a lot of, Damn it. Okay, this might take a couple tries. That's something I noticed when I was watching a friend of mine play through, this game, is that there are some tricky jumps. Trickier than you would expect for a game that's centered more on its visual style than its gameplay style. Although maybe that's an assumption that I'm making. Oh, hello. Smash. Ah. Chomp. Chomp. Nom nom nom. Just eat it and litter it on the ground. Now, does this little guy like me? Or does this little guy like the fact that when he's near me, food appears? Do I really need to worry about the difference at this stage? Or should I just be happy to keep him fed? And just blammo. It's like, oh yeah! I have no mouth, but I must feed. That is a suddenly very specific reference I made that I wasn't even thinking of off the top of my head. But also has a really unique art style. Okay, I'm gonna keep going if you don't mind me. I got platforms to visit. Like, I don't need to really watch him eat. Do I? Everybody needs a rock buddy. Ah. I forget where this goes. I've only watched this part like 2 days ago, and it's already gone. Like this guy reminds me of like the main character of BioShock. Okay. Hold on. So I need to lead him back here. There we go. In that, the main character of BioShock basically just eats whatever's in front of him at all times. Like, he'll find a candy bar or a bag of potato chips in a dumpster, and he'll be like, "Oh, I gotta eat it right now." Like, this little guy, like, finds an apple. Well, I guess he doesn't seem like he has pockets. And this also could just be a dream. So, in the dream reality, it makes perfect sense. Like, think about the dreams that you've had. You in particular Steve. I'm just kidding. You in particular, how did you get up there? There we go. Good job, kid. Like, how many dreams have made perfect sense to you? Like, I remember one, a coworker of mine. This is a coworker of mine, not me. I swear. Had this dream in which he was swimming towards the bottom of a lake. Oh, hello. Let's send you down. And at the bottom of the lake, he noticed a giant golden statue of a fellow coworker. And as he was swimming towards the giant golden statue of that fellow coworker, he found... Nope, there's one more apple there. I'm guessing the little guy got stuck, so... Probably should free him, or pick him back up. And he found smaller golden statues around said coworker's big golden statue. So that already, I don't mean to try to analyze that dream, but largely has no apparent structural grounding. I have a friend of mine who had a dream. Another friend of mine who had a dream, which I wish I had this dream because it sounds pretty awesome, in which the Predator and myself were robbing banks. Because the Predator needs cash. Like, that sweet stealth technology it's not going to pay for itself. So we're robbing banks, but the cops, the 5-0, they were on to us. And they caught us, unfortunately. I got away. Okay, so I've got a puzzle to do in one direction, puzzle to do in the other direction. I got away, but the Predator got caught. The Predator was arrested. Which still sounds like a pretty rad dream. Oh, hello. Nah. I was not expecting to drop down. I swear. I don't remember what other game... I think the other game this reminds me of is, I think it's called Machinarium. I haven't actually played through it in its entirety, but it was like a point-and-click game in which you're playing as this kind of like little odd robot. So if this was a dream, what do these little pieces represent? Are they all just kind of little aspects of her? Like little thoughts? But he gave me a power pellet, so... Now, one thing that a friend of mine commented in regards to this game is the main character's running speed, which is largely non-existent. This speed... Oh, I can make her go slower, but I cannot make her go faster. This is her fastest speed, which I would imagine if you were going any faster than this, like, you wouldn't... It would be a little bit harder to appreciate the art that's going around, but also it would kind of... I feel like it would kind of make it seem like the environments you are in are smaller than they appear to be. Oh. I'm pretty sure this is a very, Super Mario-esque mechanic. But if you're going to steal a mechanic from Mario, and if you're going to steal a mechanic from any platforming game, you might as well take from the best. Interesting. I might have to jump from... I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to get to, damage. Nope. Ah. This is, like I said, this game can be a little bit tricky at times. Because if I jump there, it'll cause the platform to appear, which will cover that up. Well, let's see if there's anything in this direction, and then if there's nothing in this direction, I'll just head back. I believe there's nothing in this direction. Yep, it just goes back to that main location, that central hub. Now, there are 2 power pellets I could have collected. So, I have my options. There's the one at the top, and there is actually 2 directions I can get it from, which it looks as though the left might actually be the best direction to do it from. There we go. So, let's head back to the center, as I believe that should clear things up. Although, the entire idea of like a game that focuses less on the conflict you're meant to kind of defeat, and more about just the kind of the challenges you're supposed to overcome. I guess this kind of reminds me a little bit of The Witness a bit. Also, double jump, which is very useful. Which means that now I can actually go back to that previous spot. And I believe I should be able to do a double jump in order to get both of those items. So I'm going to go do that right now. Also, notice how her dress kind of becomes... I can't go from that angle. Maybe I can't go back down. I guess I can. Notice how her dress kind of becomes a cape. So she still has her underdress? Ladies? What do you call that part of the dress? But now the actual dress itself kind of splits into a couple folds for her to float along with. So you get a little bit of artistic change. Nope. Yeah. There we go. I struggled for a bit and made do. Huh. You know, I was expecting to be able to go back and do stuff, but oh well. I wonder if I'm able to go back later. Oh, yeah, okay. I remember seeing a friend of mine try this one. It's a little bit on the tricky side. A little bit. Okay. That was close, but I swear, the third time is the charm. There we go. Yes, it does feel like I'm going faster. Oh, hello. They'll come back around, I swear. Convenient that they don't have to actually stick around for me. Like, I don't actually have to follow them along to get the super jump. Oh, hello. Oh. Like, I just have to pass them by and acquire super jump powers. And hup. And hup. Oh. Oh, and now because I have the... no. Not good enough. This one's a little bit different. There we go. I think. Nope. Okay. I think I need to treat this puzzle in the same way I need to treat this game. And that is with patience. If I just wait for it, it will appear before me. Excellent. And super jump to... everything's going well. There's no way anything bad could happen at all. Clearly, things are coming up. Oh no, statue's still crying. Also, only nude statues in this dreamscape. Okay. That is a very zoomed out view. It's kind of interesting. There's only one other 2D platform game that I think I've played that has had a view quite as zoomed out as that. And that is the video game Gunpoint, which, if you haven't played it, it is pretty awesome. It's like a tactical hacking platform game with super jumps. Clearly everything is going to go well. Also, I like how much impact the giant bird has. Oh, super jump. And now, suddenly, conflict. Internal conflict. External conflict? So, I guess here's like, if we're interpreting this as being her mind, like this would essentially be the antagonist that's keeping things from coming together, that's keeping things falling apart. And I guess the presence of I saw a friend of mine play this sequence, and I still got startled. As a dream sequence, like, what does the like the enemy signify? I guess it would I guess there would be a lot of overlap between the idea of like an unconscious, like the inner mind and dream interpretation, at the very least, as I'm attempting to do it. Oh, not good enough. I see. Okay, I have to do something. There we go. Well, of course I have to do something. This is a video game. You always have to do something in order to progress. The most ridiculous something I've ever seen for a video game that requires you to do something in order to progress would be X-Men on the Sega Genesis, which required you to... Oh. Nope. Which required you to reset the console in order to continue playing the game, which is still something I find particularly ridiculous. Okay, so I cannot jump that far on my own volition, but with this bird's aid... nope. Alright. With this bird's aid, then I can make the long jump, which is kind of interesting in that I'm essentially using the enemy's ability in order to escape it. But this is the rare Devolver game that focuses on non-conflict. I'm not granted any means of opposing the enemy. As much as I am granted the ability to defend myself. Also, cool cinematic. And we have evaded danger. At least for a little longer. For a little while. And that's something I find interesting, more interesting in regards to, I don't know, for boss battles. Like, what do people expect out of boss battles? Something to, well, obviously you'd want something that uses the gameplay mechanics. And in this case, I would say, oh. Hello. So, I guess I evaded danger for only so long. But in the case of this game, like, there's only been a couple of mechanics I've learned, which is turn into a block and double jump. So, considering if I've only learned, like... Oh yeah, and super jump. Since I've only learned a couple different mechanics, it's impressive how much gameplay this game was able to kind of acquire from that boss fight against the bird. While still being visually compelling. And without taking years upon years... Actually, that's a good question. I don't know how long this game took to develop. Also, statue is a little bit more intact. She doesn't have a face. But the parts are more stuck together. And she has acquired the color blue.
Thank you for watching. Questions, comments, recommendations for something to play next? Comment down below or send it on over to itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. That's itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. So long for now.